Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my mid-month January wrap-up. For the first half of January, I read a total of 9 books. First book that I read in the month of January was Say It's Forever by A.L. Jackson. This is the second book in her Redemption Hills series. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars, and the spice rating is about 2 chili peppers. This book is about Judd and Salem. So Judd is on his way home during a storm when he runs into Salem, which she has a broken down car. Judd, being the upstanding man that he stops and helps her out, but he knows, because he's a mechanic who owns his own shop, that her car is not going to be helped or saved during this storm or at this time of night at all. So he convinces her to get on the back of his bike and he takes her to his home and gets her warm. She ends up spending the night. Okay, so that's how they meet. It is instant connection. The way that A.L. Jackson writes, I have kind of like a love-hate relationship with it. Like, I love her writing. It's flowery, it's deep, it's emotional writing, but sometimes she could take it too far in areas in the book that it shouldn't be flowery or emotional, if you know what I mean. The way that A.L. Jackson does her plot twists and how she connects our characters with a deeper, darker past, it's just absolutely amazing how she does it, and it's just amazing work. It keeps you flipping page after page. It keeps you engaged. It is just a well done story. For me, it's just sometimes the writing, and I do have trouble with the way that she portrays children in here, because Salem is a single mom, and in the first book it's about a single dad. So we do get children in these books, and I just feel like they are portrayed not correctly. But I'm also not around children, and I can't remember how old they are in this book, but I feel like they're pretty young to be saying all this stuff that they be saying. But I could also be wrong, because I don't hang around children. I don't have any children of my own, so I'm not sure. It just throws me off. It takes me out of the story when we get to the kids part. So yeah, that's my little pet peeve about it. Again, with the way that A.L. Jackson writes, it's very poetic, very flowery, and I connect with that kind of writing. I really enjoy it. Just when we get to the smut scenes or in areas it's a little bit too dramatic, that's where I kind of like, you know what I mean? Overall though, I loved this story. I loved Judd. I think that he was just a big biker man, you know what I mean? And he's covered in tattoos. He has a deeper past, but it's the way that he is charming, the nicknames that he has for Salem's, just the sweet talk, the pining. He is just so also reluctant to love, which you learn about more, which when I learned about his past, I was just like so shook. I loved Salem because she was still tough as nails despite everything that she went through. It was just done so well. I think they're definitely soulmates. You get that feeling that it's just fate. They are meant to be together. It's instant connection. It's not instant love, but it's instant connection. You feel the tension, you feel the passion, you feel the chemistry. Like when Salem walks into a room, Judd is like instantly hyper aware, and vice versa. It's giving very much that. Again, I love this book so much. I definitely recommend this series if you're into all of that I just said. Every time I think about this couple, it makes me smile and it makes me happy, and I definitely think that they are soulmates. They are meant to be together, and I'm just so glad that they found each other in this story, because they definitely needed something good to go for them. Not too bad for the first read of 2023. Then I attempted to read The Perfect Marriage by Jeneva. This was actually a book club pick, and it was a thriller, and I was kind of iffy about it, but I was like, you know what, let me mix up my genres. Let's start off with a bang this year. So I ended up DNFing it at 53%, and I gave it 1.5 stars, and the spice was like 0.5 chili peppers, like not even a full star. I was honestly going to push through and finish this book. Like I said, I DNF'd it at 53%. Like I was already halfway through. I really was, but I just could not take it anymore. The writing was absolutely terrible. It was terrible. It was so bad, y'all. Like, I just could not connect to it. I honestly don't know how this has such a high rating. Like, how could you push through the writing? Like, to get to the plot twist and to get to the ending and the official, like, overall who done did it. How could you get past the husband, y'all. He was literally the breaking point. Like, I cannot stand him. And at some point, like, I am like, if I had to choose somebody in the story, I would choose the wife, like 100%. Like, I support women's rights and women's wrongs, okay? And I would totally be on her side. I am on her side, but at some points, she was also getting on my nerve. And if both characters are getting on my nerve and I'm not connecting to either one of them, I just, it's it for me. I'm done. I'm not gonna waste my time. I really tried. It was a book club pick, but it was honestly terrible. I didn't even care enough to finish it. I was like, I told my friend Janelle, I was like, can you spoil this for me? Like, just tell me who did it. And like, she spoiled it for me, so I know how it ends. I know what the plot twist is, but I would have rather her tell me than me find out on my own to continue reading, because the writing was just that bad. So basically, the synopsis is that, what is even her name? Oh, Adam is the husband, the wife is Sarah, and basically Adam is a pathetic. Adam is literally a pathetic excuse of a man, okay? He cheats on his lawyer, beautiful, successful wife because he's not getting enough attention. He's not getting enough attention, even though she supports him because his writing career is literally trash. She supports him. He buys him expensive ass gifts. She literally gives as much as she can while also providing him this lifestyle by working her job that might take her away from the relationship. But he literally is like, well, she doesn't really love me because she doesn't spend every fucking waking minute with me. Y'all, he was no. But he meets this woman named Kelly, and he begins to have an affair with her because he meets her at this cafe near his cabin that his wife bought for him. Said mistress ends up dead, and Adam is the prime suspect, and now Sarah, his wife, is defending him in court. So it all sounds very good, very like, oh shit, she's defending her cheating husband in court. Why would she do that? Why would she do that? But she does. And yeah, things go from there. Like I said in my review, the writing is mediocre. It's so surface level and very much Sarah did this, Adam said that. There was no emotion into the book. It was very like just telling you, but like you can have a book be telling you the stuff, the information, but you still feel something. You still kind of get connected. You feel bad for the characters. You hate the characters, vice versa. So maybe it did make me feel something because I do hate this book. So it made me feel something. There's no emotion or deeper feeling to the writing, and at some point it got so irritating and it's so cringy, y'all. Like, so cringy. Secondly, the characters aren't even likable. You get to see how Sarah and Adam met, and it doesn't make the relationship love believable. I literally hate Adam. I literally wrote that. He is weak and pathetic, and the things he says and the way he thinks is literal garbage. Talk about a piece of garbage. Just the thoughts that this man has, the way that he sees his wife, the way he sees his mistress, the way he sees his mother, which let's not even get into it. His mother is equally as horrible. Like the mother, I literally don't know how Sarah did it. I literally don't know why Sarah put up so much with his mother. Like when it came to his mother, she was a little doormat, and I was like, absolutely not. And there was also times where Sarah was like very mean and very badly opinionated about other women, and I'm just like, girl, chill out. Plus, Sarah herself doesn't even think much of her husband. She said, and I quote, "Deep down, I thought he was a bit of a pussy." Literally, those are her actual thoughts. And I'm like, girl, what is you doing? Also, the whole investigation is bonkers, and I don't believe for 1 second this is how murder investigations are handled at all. It felt like the author didn't do any research for this book. It was dramatic when it didn't need to be, and it was bland all around. I literally kind of went over my review just because, listen, I forgot all about this book. I was like, I'm putting this book out of my mind, so I needed a little refresher, and you know, I wrote down some facts, okay, because I wrote this right after I DNF'd it. So these are some quotes, y'all. First of all, Adam, at some point, he says, "Fuck the affair." And I'm like, what do you mean, fuck the affair? You literally cheated on your wife that you claim to love. Listen here. In the beginning, after he fucks his mistress, he leaves his mistress a note talking about it hasn't always been her, but it will always be her, right? Then he leaves the cabin, goes home, and he fucks his wife right after he got home. And she's like, let's have a baby. And he's instantly like, oh yeah, let's do this. I'm about to be a father. She's the love of my life. And then he has the audacity to send her flowers to her office talking about it's always been you. It will always be you. Didn't you just say these same exact words to your mistress? I'm out. And then he has his audacity to be like in like the interrogation cell talking about fuck the affair. I need to get out of here. Fuck the affair. The affair put you in here, sir. Adam says this about his mom, okay? About his mother. This relationship, he says, I could literally throw this table across the room and punch her right in the mouth and she'd still look at me like I was the reason the sun rose every morning. This is Adam talking about his mother. He's talking about punching his mother. Then there's this other one. I don't even remember changing into PJs. I wonder for a second if mom changed me and I roll my eyes knowing she probably did. The fact that he was so drunk, but his mother still was like, I'm gonna change my fully grown ass son into PJs. And he's just like, yep, roll my eyes, totally normal. I don't know. To me, that's weird. That's weird, y'all. Anyways, 1.5 stars, trash. Absolute trash of a book. Moving on, I ended up reading a couple of novellas. First off, I read Dear Monster Claus. This is a holiday novella. Monster novella is between Cupid and Satan looking type of guy, which is Santa Claus, and Cupid is, you know, Cupid. So Cupids aren't meant to fall in love. They're not meant to find their love. They're meant to give people love. And she's been seeing all these people fall in love her entire life. And she's like, I want to be able to experience that. So she starts writing to Santa, which is our hero. And she's sending him letters talking about how he can grant her the wish of her Christmas dreams of finding true love. Santa Claus ends up actually pulling up and they start like this kind of like teach me scenario or like fake dating scenario where he teaches her how to find love, but they end up falling in love with each other. It's done very well. It's honestly unhinged. His is a candy cane. It's literally a candy cane, and she loves it. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. It was fun for what it was. I definitely needed something light and fun after The Perfect Marriage. So then I read Santa's Baby by Chloe Maine. I actually ended up finding out about Chloe Maine because this girl on my IG that I follow, she posted like a screenshot of a book that she was reading by Chloe Maine, and it I'm a little embarrassed. It was like a breeding quote, and I was like, I need to read that. So I ended up picking it up. This one is called Santa's Baby. So basically the heroine it's definitely age gap. It's forbidden because the hero is the heroine's dad's best friend, and she kind of gets stuck in a storm, and the hero like goes out and gets her. So there's some caretaking. There's the daddy kink in here. So there's that role playing, and it's smutty. It's a smutty good old time. It was fun for what it was. And I liked that the whole, like, when the parents found out, it wasn't that dramatic. It was just kind of, like, you know, put out there and accepted. You know what I mean? But it was good. 3 stars. Then I read Father of the Bride by Chloe Maine as well. This one is about our heroine's best friend is getting married, and the father ends up picking up the best friend at the airport. So it's very forced proximity. They did have an encounter previously that was kind of like, you know, maybe something could be there. They don't see each other for a while, and now the hero, the dad, is a billionaire, and he like lavishes his attention on the best friend, on the heroine, and it's very much that they kind of like fall into this sexual situation, but they have been pining over each other, and it's very cute. It's very hot. There is, I'm pretty sure, the daddy kink in this one as well. 3 stars. It was nice. It was cool. I also liked that the ending also didn't have like a 3rd act breakup. It was very much like, there was a scene in here that I really appreciated with the heroine kind of hears what she misinterprets what she hears, so she like kind of like runs away, but the hero literally chases her down and is like, don't run from me, we talk about this. And I was like, period. I like that. 3 stars. Next up, I did end up reading The Cruel Prince. This is the only physical read that I read in the month of January. I tabbed the hell out of this book. I love this book. This is 5 stars. This is my first 5-star of 2023. This is also my first fantasy of 2023, and I am so glad that I picked this up for the Cruel Prince read-along. I am currently reading The Wicked King by Holly Black. I can't wait to get even deeper into it. This is about Jude, and Jude has been in the Fae world basically since she was a child. Her parents die. She is in this Fae world, right? And she's just trying to make it. All 3 of her sisters are trying to make it. Jude is trying to make it, Taryn is trying to make it, and Vivian is trying to make it. But Vivian is Fae, and Taryn and Jude are twin sisters that are mortal. So they are in this world, and they like go to school, and they have the bully team where Carden comes in and Locke comes in. It is just so good. There's so much. There's like world building. It is the first book, so there's a lot of world building. I thought it was very well done. I'm very invested. I loved this book. I love the fantasy. I loved the Fae. I loved Carden. I think I loved Carden from the beginning just because I knew that Jude and Carden are the end game, just because I've seen so much about this book. But there are just moments in here that I just live for. I love Jude so much. She's just a badass heroine. I hate Taryn. I hate Locke. I love Carden. I love Jude. Their little brother Oak was super cute. I just love the magical elements. I love the plot twist. It was like plot twist after plot twist after plot twist, girl. I was not expecting it. Like, I was shook. I should have gotten my reaction, but it is what it is. I just can't say too much about it because I don't want to spoil it. Do I definitely think that you should read? Definitely read this series. I mean, obviously, I haven't read the second or the third book, but you know I will. There's just some moments towards the end of Carden and Jude, and I eat it up. But 5 stars. Definitely so glad that I picked this up in January and I'm reading it. And I'm so glad for this read along because otherwise I don't think I would have picked this up anytime soon. But again, I'm glad I did, and I can't wait to finish the second and third book. Then I ended up reading Witches Get Stitches by Juliette Cross. I did end up giving this book 4.5 stars, and it is 3.5 on the spice scale. Did I not put a chili pepper on this one? This is the 3rd book in the Stay a Spell series. It is about Nico and Violet. Violet is one of the twin sisters. She is twins with her sister Clara, and Nico is Mateo's cousin, and Mateo is the first hero in the 1st book of this series. So we do already have a background on both of them. We've seen them both in the 1st book and the 2nd book. We see their tension, we see their chemistry, we see that they are kind of, you know, they have this thing going on. So Nico and Violet actually first meet on New Year's Eve, and they have this explosive encounter together. Super hot, super well done. And from that moment, Nico has known that Violet has been it for him, very much fated mates. But Violet kind of disappears after that encounter in New Year's, and there is definitely, I don't know if it's 2 or 5 years, to be honest. I think it's about 2 years. Nico ends up moving closer to his cousin Mateo, which then brings him into forced proximity with Violet, and that's how they kind of come back together. And the way that Nico approaches Violet, it's very at a distance because he doesn't want to push her. Now, Violet has this connection with Nico, and she knows there's something there, but her magical power is being a seer, and she ends up doing tarot cards for herself and Nico in the relationship. This kind of throws a wrench in it because the cards that she pulls aren't what she would like to see. So she puts off pursuing a relationship with Nico because of what she sees, because she takes it to heart, and she doesn't want heartbreak, and she doesn't want to hurt Nico. Nico ends up helping Violet open her own tattoo shop called Empress Ink, and she is just trying to do something bigger with her tattoo shop. She is trying to help supernatural beings, paranormal beings with her tattoos because she can put her magic in them and like either heal them or provide them a sort of feeling, you know. Nico is literally obsessed with her. He is pining after her so hard. It's literally friends to lovers, but it's Nico. He knows Violet is it for him. He just has to be patient with Violet because he doesn't want to push her away and therefore either like lose their friendship. He'd rather have her friendship than not have her at all. And it's very giving much that, and it's very like kind of like unrequited love, but really like Violet is really into him as well. So there's that pining, there's like unrequited love, there's the friends to lovers, there's the slow burn for sure. It is so good. Every time I think about that couple, it brings a smile to my face. It wasn't quite a 5-star read because I didn't get that like 5-star feel. You know what I mean? I didn't get that 5-star feel, but when I was reading it, I was like kicking my feet. I was giggling. I was like, it was funny. I just love seeing the sisters interact. I love seeing the previous couples. The smut in here, I believe this is the smuttiest one out of all the other ones. It was so hot. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I just love me a werewolf romance because Nico and the way like werewolves are, they're just so possessive over their mates. I loved Violet's personality. She was just a go-getter. She wasn't shy really about anything. She was just this big energy of a person, and I just instantly fell in love with her. She's just like so unapologetic with who she is as a person, and Nico is just absolutely perfection of a man. He is such a simp. He is a simp for Violet. He is so worshiping towards her. He is just obsessed with her. They did have all this time to get to know each other, and you felt that connection and their bond, and every time they were together there was that chemistry, that passion, that tension of wanting each other but not being able to like be with each other. Nico was just so supportive, so caring, and he was overall so patient. He knew from the beginning he had to be patient. Nico and Violet are just absolutely meant for each other. The plot of this book was also very much entertaining. It was good enough to keep the story going, but it absolutely did not overshadow the romance in the book, which I liked. And I also liked that the plot wasn't anything with ill intention. It was more like trying to help other werewolves with Violet's tattoos. I also love that Violet stood up for werewolves and the prejudice that comes with being a werewolf in this world, and how it's building up to other books in the series, and how it's also building up to other supernaturals not being hateful to werewolves, because werewolves have always been cast out in the series. But I thought it was very, very, very well done. There's also no third act breakup, which we love. It's a fun, swoon-worthy paranormal romance, and I definitely think that you should pick the series up if you haven't already, even if you just wait until October to pick it up, because it definitely does give that paranormal, spooky, witches, magic vibe. They're so good. I love this book. I loved Nico and Violet together. Then from that one, I ended up reading the little novella. I ended up giving it 5 stars just because I am a person that loves extended epilogues, extra short stories, and just seeing my couples happy. So I did read Walking in a Witchy Wonderland by Juliette Cross. This is the 3.5 book, the novella in between the 3rd book and the 4th book. Like I said, I did give it 5 stars just because I eat it up. I eat it up. So first novella in here, because there's kind of divided between the couples, it was Bewitch You a Merry Christmas. This was the extra spice that I wanted in the 1st book that we didn't get. We do get spice in the 1st book, but it's not as spicy as the 2nd and the 3rd book, okay? The 1st one's a bit mild, which I think it's good if you're not spice girly. I think it's a very good and very, very well done introduction. But yes, this first novella gave me the spice that I wanted between Mateo and Evie. It was hot. It was good. It was so good. Then the second novella is Rockin' Around the Hexmas Tree. This is Isadora and Devraj. This is the couple from the 2nd book. They had this little short story about Christmas. They both get into a lust potion without knowing. So this novella is actually very, very spicy, and I ate it up. I loved it. I loved their couple. I loved Devraj and Isadora. Third one was Jingle Bell Jock. This was between Charlie and JJ, aka Jeremy. JJ and Charlie are side characters in this series, and it is an MM romance, but we get to see their romance because they do end up having and coming together as a couple in the 3rd book, but we don't get to see it happen in the 3rd book, which is understandable, but we do get a short story of how it happens and how they've been pining for each other, and that's what we got in Jingle Bell Jock. And I thought it was very well done. It is an MM love story that I did not know I needed, but I loved reading about it. Then we had You're a Mean One, Mr. Grimm. This one is the characters Livy and Gareth. Livy and Gareth are the couple in the 4th book. I'm a little iffy about starting that one. I don't know if I'm probably not feeling it right now. So I'll definitely wait to pick that one up. But I do want to get into it. I was looking to see when it was Clara's story, but it's the last book in the series. And I'm just like, damn, because I really want to know about Clara and her match. But that's the last book in the series, and it's not coming out till this year, so I'm just patiently waiting for it. patiently, but not patiently waiting for it. Anyways, going back, fourth book, Livy and Gareth. This is just a little snippet of Gareth and Livy and how they met during this competition. It's definitely giving enemies to lovers, possibly enemies with benefits, but it just gives you a little insight about the future couple in the fourth book. Then the last one was Jingle Bells. This was Violet and Nico's little short story where Nico babysits Evie and Mateo's triplets. And it was honestly just swoon-worthy, and it was spicy as well. And we just get to see Nico as a dad, and you know, Violet's ovaries are exploding and my ovaries are exploding, and just every girl's ovaries are exploding. And it was funny. I liked seeing their dynamic. I loved revisiting them and seeing them in the future. I definitely recommend to pick this one up. It's giving very much Christmas vibes. So if you already read the first couple of books, and I definitely think that you should read this Christmassy novella. Last book that I read was The Lost Sisters. This was the short novella in Taryn's point of view. So it's The Cruel Prince, then The Lost Sisters. It's a short novella, and then you get into book 2. So I ended up reading this because it's part of the read along, and I was kind of iffy going in because it's in Taryn's point of view. It's like what happens in The Cruel Prince, but in Taryn's point of view and why she made the decisions that she made. And I don't know if this was supposed to be redeeming for her, if this short novella was to show the readers a different side of Taryn, but honestly, it just made me hate her more. I truly think that it just made me hate her more. I was reading this and I was like, wow, just excuses after excuses on why she made the decisions that she made. And like, come on now, like, I understand that they're trying to survive in the Fae world, but the way that she was trying to survive, like, why is this fairy tale like why? It was very childish. It was very childish. I gave it 2 stars. I hated it. I gave it 2 stars just because I finished it. Taryn is like writing this as if she was writing it to Jude and like apologizing, but she never actually apologizes in the book. And when we get to the parts where she like is making these decisions that therefore have an impact in that the actual Cruel Prince book, it's not validating. It doesn't make it right. It's still bad. It's still like really bitch. I have no sympathy for her. I literally could care less. And I will leave you guys with a quote by Carden to Taryn, and I think he just sums it up. He just sums it up in perfect words, and it's literally perfect. And that's all I will say about this little novella because I fucking hate her. The quote is, "You're awful." He said it as though he was delighted. And the worst part is that you believe otherwise. That is the last book that I read in the first half of January. This video is going to be so long. Let me know what your favorite book so far of January is. I would love to know. And if you don't want to comment any of that, then go ahead and leave a crown emoji down below for The Cruel Prince. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.